Imagine evolution as the slowest customer service department in nature. A tiger walks in and says, "I need teeth." Approved. An eagle says, "I need wings." A turtle says, "I need armor." Approved. Then humans walk in. No claws, no armor, bad knees, tiny baby teeth, a spine that feels like it was assembled during a lunch break. And evolution says, best I can do is anxiety, sweat, and a weirdly large forehead. So humans had a problem. We were not the strongest animal. We were not the fastest animal. We were not the scariest animal. But somewhere inside the evolution of humans, we unlocked one deeply unfair trick. Copying. Not copying like, nice dance move. Copying like, that guy didn't die after eating that plant, so now the whole tribe has dinner. Copying like, she made a sharp rock, so now everyone has tiny murder geometry. Copying like, the old guy knows where the water is, so maybe don't ignore the human GPS. With wrinkles, genes were too slow. Copying moved faster. Nature usually makes you wait for upgrades. Humans found the copy button and immediately started abusing it. A gene update takes thousands of generations. A copying update takes one caveman pointing at another caveman and saying, "Do that." He survived. Not elegant. More like evolution getting hacked by a naked ape with social anxiety. The cheat was already on the table. And once humans became really good at copying, evolution stopped being only about body parts. It became about information. A bear has claws. A human has, "Bro, watch this." And somehow, "Bro, watch this," became fire, tools, language, culture, schools, YouTube tutorials, IKEA furniture. And that one guy online explaining how to fix a sink using a fork, and confidence. Now, humans are not the only animals that learn from each other. Birds learn songs. Monkeys learn food tricks. Whales learn travel routes. Octopuses probably learn things and then judge everyone silently. But humans took social learning and turned it into an operating system. Other animals copy. Humans copy, teach, improve, argue, make it sacred, pass it to children, write it down, monetize it, and then sell a beginner course called Stone Tool Mastery, From Pebble to Problem. Here is where it gets weird. Because copying sounds lazy. It sounds like something your teacher warned you not to do. But in human evolution, copying was not cheating. Copying was how you skip the death tutorial. Trial and error is expensive when the error is poison. Ancient life did not have an undo button. There was no reload previous save. If you tested every bear yourself, your stomach became a research facility. If you tested every cave yourself, sometimes the cave already had a bear tenant. If you tested every animal yourself, congratulations, the animal also tested you. So the smartest move was not always, try everything. Sometimes the smartest move was, watch the idiot who tried everything, then copy only the parts where he stayed alive. Genes too slow. Copying instant patch. One person figures something out. Maybe on purpose. Maybe by accident. Maybe because he was the village idiot with unlimited confidence. Then everyone else watches. Suddenly one brain's mistake becomes the whole group's knowledge. Nobody planned this. One person sharpens a stone. Another copies it. Another ties it to a stick. Another makes the handle better. Another says, what if we throw it? Another says, what if we make 50? Another says, what if Brian is not allowed to hold one? And now evolution is standing there like, wait, I was still processing the claw request. A genes edit the animal. Copying edits the squad. Genes say, come back in 10,000 years. Copying says, Dave ate the frog and screamed at a tree for 2 days. Don't eat the frog. Instant patch. That one warning can save lives. No mutation required. No 1,000-year waiting room. No weird body parts slowly appearing over generations. Just one human face making the universal expression for, I learned this the hard way. And everyone copies the warning. Here is how humans became dangerous in a very unfair way. A lion has to be born a lion. A human can be born useless, copy enough tricks, and become a problem. A baby horse is born and almost immediately says, I have legs. I will use them. A baby human is born and says, I have no neck control and attacks future. We start pathetic. But we start pathetic with a giant learning machine in our head. Human babies stare at faces, they copy sounds. They copy gestures. They copy emotions. They copy what adults fear. They copy what adults pretend is normal. A toddler watches you do something once and thinks, interesting. I will now recreate this badly for 3 years. Not a bug. The beginning of the human software stack. Tiny baby, no survival skills. Already downloading everyone else's behavior like illegal cave Wi-Fi. Same deal. Instant patch. And humans copy so aggressively that sometimes we copy things that are completely useless. Children will often copy extra steps, even when those steps do not matter. If an adult taps a box, waves a stick, does a weird little ritual, and then opens the box, a child may copy the entire ritual. Even the dumb part. Especially the dumb part. Because the child's brain may be thinking, I don't know which step is magic, so I'm copying all of it. Sounds stupid. But in a world full of hidden rules, copying too much can be safer than copying too little. If your grandmother says, prepare this plant exactly this way or it ruins your stomach, you do not freestyle. You do not become an intuitive mushroom chef. The guy becomes a campfire story. So humans copy the result, but we also copy the process, the order, the gesture, the tone, the weird little detail. The serious face adults make so children know this is not optional. Useful traditions survive this way. It is also how useless traditions survive, because the same brain that preserves real survival knowledge can also preserve. We put the rock here because Steve did it once and Steve lived to 30. Ancient humans probably had a lot of Steve-based science. Some of it was brilliant. Some of it was just a dead guy's habit with good branding. The comedy of human evolution sits right there. The same copying system that gives us fire, making, tools, medicine, language, and shelter also gives us trends, panic, superstition, office etiquette, and people clapping when a plane lands. Copying is not always smart. Copying is just fast. Fast systems spread wisdom. Fast systems also spread nonsense wearing a confident hat. That is why copying feels like a superpower until the whole tribe is doing the dumbest thing possible with total confidence. Humans copy successful people for a reason. If someone survives, gets food, gets status, gets respect, or simply looks like they know what they are doing, humans pay attention. Ancient version. That hunter always comes back with meat. Watch him. Modern version. That guy is standing in front of a rented mansion. Buy his course. Same monkey brain. Different scam lighting. Prestige bias is just the brain saying, that person looks successful. Quick! Steal their homework before checking if they are insane. Hey, we copy success because success might contain hidden information. Maybe that person knows the best tool. Maybe they know the safest route. Or maybe they just got lucky, stood confidently near a dead animal, and accidentally invented personal branding. The brain often says, copy first, investigate later. The shortcut can save time. It can also turn the whole species into a comment section, and humans also copy the group. If everyone in your tribe runs, you run. You do not stand there doing independent research while a leopard arrives. Conformity looks silly now. But in ancient life, war 6 years earlier, being the only person not copying the group could turn you into background detail. Imagine the whole tribe sprinting away from the trees. One guy stays behind and says, I don't follow trends. The guy gets eaten by a trend with claws. So yes, humans copy because copying helps us learn. But humans also copy because copying helps us belong. And in a small ancient group, belonging was not a lifestyle choice. It was survival. A lone human is bad DLC. A group human is dangerous. This gets even stronger when language enters the picture. Without language, copying is mostly visual. Watch this, do this, don't touch that. With language, copying becomes portable. Now you can copy things you never personally saw. A hunter comes back and says, "There is water beyond that hill." Now everyone has a mental map. A grandmother says, "When the sky looks like that, move camp." Now the group has weather memory. Someone says, "Your uncle tried that plant and argued with a tree for 6 hours." Now the group has medicine, comedy, and a warning label. Language lets humans copy experiences, not just actions. A weird thing, when you think about it, a lion cannot hold a safety seminar. A human can, and humans love safety seminars. We just call them myths, warnings, rituals, rules, traditions, gossip lectures, and comment sections. Storytelling matters for the same reason. Stories are not just entertainment. Stories are memory containers. A boring warning says, "Do not go near the river at night." A better warning says, "A monster lives there and eats idiots after sunset." Which one does a child remember? The monster version. Congratulations. You invented horror as public safety. Human groups wrapped survival knowledge in drama. Where to hunt. Who to trust. What not to eat. Which animal is dangerous. Which family is always causing problems. Why Brian should not be left alone with fire. Stories made copying emotional. And emotional information sticks. That is why you remember one embarrassing thing from 12 years ago, but forget where you put your keys every morning. The brain is not a filing cabinet. It is a gossip-powered survival machine. Here is where the evolution of humans becomes unfair. If useful knowledge stays inside one brain, it dies with that brain. But if a behavior can be copied, taught, improved, and copied again, it escapes the body. It becomes group property. A tool design does not have to be reinvented every generation. If the person who figured it out dies, the design survives. That is the more important part of the story. The knowledge outlived the person. That does not happen with claws. A claw dies with the animal. A copied method can move into another body, another camp, another child, another winter. This is cumulative culture. Small improvements stack, but not in a clean line. Someone keeps the useful part. Someone forgets a step. Someone fixes the forgotten step. Someone teaches it badly. Someone else teaches it better. The method survives anyway. Over time, the group becomes smarter than any one person. That part is important. Humans are not individually as impressive as we think. Take one random modern human and drop him naked into the Ice Age. No phone, no shoes, no lighter, no snacks, no tutorial playlist. Most of us would become a sad popsicle with opinions. Modern humans survive because we inherit millions of copied tricks. Fire, shelter, cooking, tools, language. Actually, language is the big one. Everything before language was impressive. Language was the cheat code inside the cheat code. Now a person could copy something they never saw. A warning could travel without the wound. A mistake could become a sentence. Then eventually boats, rules, recipes, containers, knots, and the collective agreement that some people should not be trusted with important flames. Civilization is accumulated copying. Very fancy copying. Still copying. Copy ape is not just a joke, it is a survival model. Genes gave humans bodies. Culture gave humans a shared hard drive full of things other people died testing. Think about fire. One human discovering fire is useful, but a group learning how to keep fire, move fire, cook with fire, gather around fire, protect embers, teach children not to become fire, and quietly agree which specific idiot should never watch it, that changes the species. Fire becomes more than a flame. It becomes a copied system. How to collect fuel, how to protect embers, how to cook meat, how to sit around it, how to talk at night, how to not burn down the only shelter because someone wanted vibes. The knowledge around fire is culture, and once culture exists, humans can outsource survival into shared memory. which is a weird thing to be proud of. A tiger's body is the tiger's weapon. A human's tribe is part of the human's weapon. One human with a stick is a nervous noodle. 10 humans with copied tactics are a strategy meeting with spears. The copy ape pulls ahead. But the system has a dark, stupid side. The same brain that copies fire, making also copies panic. The same brain that copies survival skills also copies status games. The same brain that copies useful warnings also copies rumors, bad advice, fake experts, weird trends, and whatever digital brain rot is currently wearing sunglasses. Ancient humans were not doing AI slop. They were doing human slop. One guy makes a terrible tool. Everyone copies it. Then the tribe argues for 6 generations like it is tradition. Modern life did not replace ancient copying. It supercharged it. A viral trend is just a digital campfire. Everyone gathers around, copies the weird person, and then pretends it was their idea. AI. Slop did not invent the problem. It just put a jetpack on the ancient habit of copying whatever looks successful. Brain rot is not new either. The Ice Age probably had one guy doing a terrible mammoth dance until children copied it for no reason. Ancient human, he used that stone tool and caught dinner. A modern human, he said this phrase into a camera and got 2 million views. Same species. Worse lighting. The copy ape gets ahead, then immediately copies something embarrassing. The algorithm is new. The monkey brain is ancient. We copy because we are looking for signals. What works? Who is safe? Who is respected? Who is dangerous? Who gets food? Who gets attention? Who gets accepted? Humans copy accents, slang, jokes, clothes, fears, rituals, beliefs, facial expressions, opinions, work habits, and sometimes entire personalities from people they met twice. Copying is social glue. It says, I am part of this group. In ancient life, that mattered. Wear the wrong thing. Say the wrong phrase. Break the wrong custom. Eat the wrong food in the wrong way. Suddenly, everyone looks at you like you just licked the sacred rock. Culture is not just information. Culture is the group's operating manual. And humans are born without the manual. So we copy. We copy before we understand. Childhood works like that. School works like that. Society works like that. Every intern on day 1 works like that. Pretending Slack etiquette arrived pre-installed. And because humans are so good at copying, knowledge can become bigger than any brain. No single person invented everything needed to make a pencil, a phone, a house, or a sandwich with suspiciously many ingredients. We live inside copied systems. Tools made by people copying earlier tools. Words made by people copying earlier words. Recipes copied from someone's grandmother. Technology copied, modified, broken, fixed, patented, stolen, improved, and sold back to us with a subscription plan. Human progress is not one genius alone in a cave. It is more like thousands of confused people passing notes across generations. Some notes say, use this plant. Some say, do not eat that. Some say, sharp rock better on stick. Some say, someone in particular is not allowed near fire. And slowly, the species lely. Not because every human is brilliant. Most humans are not walking around inventing civilization. Most humans are walking around asking, wait, how did that guy not die? Then they copy the answer. The whole machine, basically. Humans are copy machines with anxiety. Insulting, yes. Also basically the pitch deck for civilization. The evolution of humans did not make us perfect. It made us teachable. It made us nosy. It made us obsessed with what other people are doing. It made us stare at someone else's method and think, wait, should I be doing that? That question did more damage than claws ever could. Because once one human finds a better way, the better way does not stay lonely. It spreads. And when it spreads, the next generation starts from a higher floor. The cheat code was never strength. Biology was still loading. The copied version already shipped. Other animals can learn. Humans can inherit culture like a second genome. Genes give you a body. Culture gives you instructions written by everyone who got bitten, poisoned, frozen, embarrassed, or banned from fire duty. Human evolution is not just bones and skulls. It is also copying. It is the invisible ladder made of other people's mistakes. It is why a weak ape with no claws could become the animal that builds shelters, launches rockets, invents laws, burns dinner, writes philosophy, and still needs a tutorial to fold a fitted sheet. So when people say humans are smart, that is partly true. But it is more embarrassing than that. Humans are smart because we copy. We copy dead people through books. We copy strangers through videos. We copy parents before we can speak. Then it gets messier. Friends, experts, idiots, people who sound confident for no reason. The source changes. The instinct does not. And sometimes, after copying enough, we improve the thing. The improvement becomes the next thing someone else copies. A survival trick becomes a tradition. A tradition becomes a culture. A culture becomes a civilization. And a civilization becomes a species, staring at itself and asking, why do we all do this? Because deep inside human evolution, copying stopped being cheating. It became our superpower. A tiger got claws. A turtle got armor. A bird got wings. Humans got the ability to look at another humaning something useful and think, I'm stealing that. Not because we were the strongest. Not because we were the cleanest design. Not because evolution gave us a perfect body. Because one human could survive a mistake, and 10 humans could copy the lesson. The whole species leveled up by watching someone else fail first. That is either beautiful or embarrassing. Probably both. Copy ape wins for now.